Well, today's project is changing an idler pulley on my 2004 Subaru Forester. This is what the idler pulley normally looks like. Has a metal bearing in the middle, spins very freely, and is made of mostly plastic. And the car had a squeak in it, and I couldn't quite find out where. And unfortunately, this pulley very rudely told us what the squeak was when the center bearing seized. And of course, this plastic on the outside, the belt just dragged across it and burned that pulley up to just about nothing. And needless to say, it's pretty obvious what happened to the belt. It went too. So the only thing left of that pulley in the car is the metal center bearing. And anyhow, so today I'm going to be going in there and trying to change that out. I don't know if we can see it here, peeking in. Pretty tight to see it with this lighting. But the only thing left is that center metal bearing that is seized. So I'm going to start by taking off these bolts here and removing the cover so we have access to the belts. And unfortunately, the alternator belt is in front of the air conditioning belt, which is the one that idler pulley was for. So I'm going to have to take that off as well to get that other belt in there. And while we're in there, might as well just change it all. So that's the project du jour. So off to go take that cover off, and I'm going to set the camera down because this is a handy cam. I'm not going to bother with the tripod today, and I'll just show you the various phases of getting these belts changed as I go. Okay, at this point we've got the cover off. And as you can see, here's the belt that drives the alternator. Then on this pulley for the compressor, that's the belt that went. And this is the tensioning arm for that belt with the idler pulley that seized up. So the first thing we're going to do is take this and reduce the tension on the belt here, and also check and see how much give this belt has in it as well, because we're going to want to tighten those to spec. But we'll go ahead and loosen this tensioner for the alternator and slip this belt off, and then we'll start by taking this tensioner out, replace that pulley, reinstall it, and get that belt. Gonna have to clean the burned up plastic off some of these pulleys too, because don't want that riding in under the new belt. So gonna take care of those things, and I'll get you a shot of the pulley when I've got it out of the car, the one that burned up there. Alright, well on our way. Okay, we've marked the tensioning bolt on the alternator here before we loosened it, and now we've loosened it and can slip off the alternator belt here. And that takes care of the one that's in our way to get to the compressor bolt, or compressor pulley. Okay, I've taken loose the bolts for the tensioner arm for the tensioning pulley that runs the belt for the compressor. And as you can see, if I turn it over, that's all that's left of that poor pulley. And it's that bearing. And that bearing is completely seized. That is finished, and also even the adjusting loop for that bearing has been burned in the process. So I've got both those parts. We're going to slip those on there and adjust this tensioner back down, and then get it reinstalled. Get that belt on there. Alright, there we go. There's the new tensioner pulley on that tensioning arm. And certainly you can see there's a lot more to it than what you would have imagined just looking at what was left of it. So those are the old parts, pretty chewed up, pretty torn up. And there's that new pulley. So I'm going to drop that in the car, leave enough slack in here to adjust the tension on it, and then we'll get to that first belt. Okay, got the AC running and everything looks good. I forgot to mention that when I started this project, is make sure you don't have a seized compressor and that the compressor pulley turns. But it was pretty obvious that it was the tensioning pulley that caused the root of this problem. Alrighty, man, you just saw the clutch kick off on the AC there. Alright, we're going to button her up. Okay, it's official. The job is done. And make no mistake about it, I don't do this because I love working on cars or that I'm some sort of automotive junkie. By profession, I would say most of my career electronics technician. I simply do this to save the coins. Anyhow, just glad it was something I could take care of myself. Have a good day.